All right, thank you once again for joining us today at Matoka TV studio. All right, today in this particular video you're about to watch right now, the God servant Apostle Arome Osayi revealed a shocking secret to the body of Christ: how I destroyed the presence of witchcraft in my family. Wow! I'm sure you this clip is going to bless your life so much. All right, over to you, sir.
That there is a serpent at large. The first thing is what we call patterns. Patterns. You will find patterns. If a hedge is broken, those guys were, you see, the spirit did not have jurisdiction. Are you here with me? The spirit did not have jurisdiction over that family until they went themselves and brought it and covenanted with it and satisfied all that was required to maintain the influence of that spirit in their corridor. Are you here? And the thing about spiritual things is that spiritual things are inheritable. They are inheritable. That contract that was made also implicated future generations to come, because spirits don't die. So that contract that was made way long time ago has generational implication. So other generations will come that were not particularly involved in the negotiation, in the transaction, that will be implicated by what was done previously, because it is a lineage transaction. It's a bloodline transaction. So when you notice patterns, this one got to so years, he had an eye problem. This one got to the same, had an eye problem. This one got here, a disaster befell him. You could see that from age 46 to age 49, in that bracket, you are likely to have an encounter that will put a mark upon you. And everyone that comes into that bracket of age had a story to tell. You will know that there is a serpent that is at large, and he was able to enter into the space because the hedge was broken. The defenses were made bare, so the serpent was able to enter into the corridor. So the first thing that is an indication of the fact that there is a spiritual thing that is at work, that is up for contention, is up for engaging your priesthood, is that there is a pattern. The second is what we call a cycle. When you see people that have reoccurring circumstances, like someone is into business and anytime he is about to get a big break, something happens, something terrible happens. Anytime he's about to get a big break, and then he will begin to spend. When he spends his way out of it, things will normalize, and then he begins to gather momentum again, and he's about to launch for a big break. Something happens again. That's a cycle, and that system is put in place to ensure that your efforts amount to nothing. It's put in place to ensure that your education amounts to nothing. It's put in place to ensure that your skills amount to nothing. Skills and education and trainings that you have received, which in other climes was the secret to breakthrough and all of that, in your own context, there is this cycle. This cycle is a cyclical system of resistance that is put in place. And when you check all the members of the family, they have this same testimony manifested in different shades and colors. When you find cycles, is an indication of the fact that the hedge has been compromised, and it is for such a hedge that God needs a man to exercise priesthood, and you need to satisfy the requirement. You must be part of the bloodline. There must be a blood gradient that offers you the legitimacy to begin to participate in that kind of engagement. I don't have time to show us a few scriptures. All right. Now, I'd like you to see the way Old Testament saints, the way they talk. I'd like you to take note of the way they talk. Okay, let's do Joshua chapter 24, verse 15. I would like you to take note of the way they talk. Joshua chapter 24, verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I would like you to take note of that statement. He was not only speaking for himself. His household was included in his decision. And it is not as if he was going to consult with every member of his household to secure the agreement before he made this statement. It's because your priesthood, the most primary premise of the impact of your priesthood is your family context. But unfortunately, we don't have people that have the spirit of Joshua that will insist and say, as for me and my house, we will not serve. What did you call that spirit again? That's Akadin wine. We will not serve that. You see, the implication of his decision was going to affect his household. That's the platform I would like you to see. And that's why, in order for you to be effective, you must be from among them. All right. So we spoke about patterns, we spoke about cycles. Then we spoke about the third point is what we call the flow. And the flow is the transgenerational impact of curses. Transgenerational impact of curses. When you find something happened to your grandmother, then you now discover that the same thing happened to your mother. And then you now discover that the symptoms of that thing seem to want to happen to you. Maybe your grandmother was exceptionally beautiful, but she had a problem in her marriage. So the issue was not that she was not beautiful. She had all the advantages to bequeath to her favor, but the possibilities were maligned by things beyond her control. And then we now have the mother, the same pattern finds expression. It's a flow. It's something, it's a judgment. And that judgment is efficacious across generations. These are suggestions that there is a need for you to launch your priesthood. And you must understand that God will not take the initiative to bring deliverance. No. The initiative for deliverance will come through that man that decides to make up the hedge. The day that man rises, then God has a deal of salvation with that family. As long as the man has not yet risen, the deal of salvation is not in view. I sought for a man, that's what God said, and that man must be domiciled among them. So when we talk about a hedge, this hedge that is broken is the legality for the operation of the serpent. The broken hedge is the legality for the operation of the serpent. For he that breaketh a hedge. All right? He said the serpent, an intruder, a power can begin to bite him. A power can begin to influence the